Okay, I'm going to talk you through exercise 8e. So the first one is saying the difference of two numbers, so you subtract them, equals 8. And then it says work out the minimum value, so I wrote v for value, of 4x squared minus 3y squared. So you have to rewrite this in terms of either x's or y's. It doesn't matter which one you choose. I chose to write y equals. So I moved this y over and moved that 8 over, so it's 8 minus 8 equals y. So v equals 4x squared minus 3, put in your y. So square means you've got two sets of brackets. Multiply them out, tidy them up, times it all by minus 3, and you've got your expression. So now we're good to go. So differentiate it, set it equal to 0, and solve. Don't forget to do the second derivative. So you differentiate that again to get 2. That means it's a minimum. Now answer the question. The question wants the value. So you've got your x. This is me working out my y from up here. So you've got your x and your y. Put it into your expression to get your value. Number 2. So it's talking about the perimeter. So if you add up all the sides, they don't add up the head, just add up the sides, you get that. Area is what they're wanting you to find. So area is your x times your y. Now, I wrote it as x equals. Up here, you're bringing that across, going to take away. You could easily do y if you want, it doesn't matter. So I've now got my x. Put your x in here. Times it by y. Times it out. You now want the max or min. Always use this method. So differentiate, to differentiate that, set it equal to 0, and solve. Always do the second derivative. So you have your first differential, second, differentiate it again, get minus 4, which is under 0, so it's a maximum. I've got my y. I'm now working out my x from this equation up here. And the question wants the area. So area is x times y. Just work it out. You could, of course, just use that as your area and put your y in. It doesn't matter. You'll get the same answer. Now, over the page to number 3. Number 3 is an easier one because the expression already is in terms of x's. So you just differentiate it, set it equal to 0, and solve. Make sure you find the second derivative. Second derivative is when you differentiate it again. It's under 0, so it's maximum. And the question just said, find x, that's it done. Question 4. I think it's the hardest question we have to do. The total number of pencils and pens is 20. So x add y is 20. The cost. Each pencil is y pence, so x times y. And each pen is 2x, so it's y times 2x. Tidying that up, you get the cost to be 3xy. This has to be all in terms of x's or y's. From the first expression, or the first equation, I wrote y equals. So I'm taking this y and putting it down here. So it's 3x times that y. Times it out, and now I'm good to go. I've got my expression all in terms of x's. So you differentiate it, set it equal to 0, and get your x value. I just found my y value down here at the same time, using that equation. Don't forget to do your second derivative. So if you differentiate that again, you get minus 6, which is under 0, so it's maximum. The question wants you to find the cost. So cost is 3xy. So put in your x and your y, 300 pence, which is £3. Number 5. You've got the area of a trapezium. Area of a trapezium is when you add the opposite sides, which in this case are y and 3y, and divide by 2, and times it by the height or the distance between the two sides, which is x. So tidying that all up, you get the area to be 2xy. You're told that equals 288. I can divide both sides by 2 to get that. The question wants the length. So you've got a 3y, add an x, add a y. So you've got 4y, add x. Now you have to get rid of either the x or the y. I chose to get rid of the y. I do tend to choose to get rid of the y, but I don't have to. Could be the x. So using this, bring the x over dividing. So y is 144 over x. So putting that y in here. So times out the top, 576 over x, add x. So I've got my equation in terms of x's. I can't differentiate that because x is the bottom, so I must bring that up as a minus 1. So I've done over here. Now I'm going to differentiate power to front, take 1 off, and remember x disappears and leaves a 1. You want to put that equal to 0. So I rewrote that as minus 576 and brought that x back to the bottom row. Remember, a minus index means you can toggle between the bottom and the top. I then brought this over to the other side, then brought the x squared up, then square rooted it, got x equals 24. I worked out my y to give me 6. Now don't forget the second derivative. There's my first derivative. Differentiate it again, you get this. And you can see me bringing the x cubed in the bottom row. Sorry, it should be x cubed there. Now, what you'll notice I'm doing down here, you've got an x, so put your x in. That's going to work out to be a positive number. Don't have to work it out. I know it's going to be positive, so it's a minimum. And the question wanted the length. So the length is 4 times y add x. Go back to the beginning, you'll see that. So it's 4 times 6 add 24. The length is 48. And this is the last one we're going to do here. Question 6. So I'll talk you through this one. So area is xy, and you're told that is 338. So I rearranged it to get y equals. You want the length. So you've got 2 y's and an x. I put this y in here. So it's 2 times this plus x. Now this is similar to the previous example. That is 676 and x in the bottom. I just brought it up as x to the minus 1, add x. Differentiate it. Set it equal to 0. It's pretty much exactly the same as the previous example. And solve it. You then must have the second derivative. So you're differentiating this again. Sub in your x, and it's a positive, which is a minimum. You've got your x, work out your y, and the question then wants the length. So it's 2x add y.